Okay, this place is the Greenery. It used to be the Greenery, now it is Christ is King Church. I started off here. I answered an ad in the paper to be a waitress. I ended up coming in and being a dancer. And I worked here for quite a few years. The owner, he was pretty decent. He never tried to sleep with me. He kind of treated me like a kid. Called me kiddo. I would sit at the bar with him and he taught me how to play pool. He taught me how to hustle. He taught me how to bring guys back to the pool table, and he taught me how to sell drinks. And he taught me which guys to solicit, and he taught me which guys not to solicit. And he basically let me know that women like me were hired for white men, and the black women were hired for black men, and we weren't allowed to take a tip on stage from a black man. We had to like cautiously and nicely deny it as if we were not interested in them. And but he never he exploited me, but it wasn't to the degree of some other places. He did have some mercy on me, and he was kind of like I never had a father growing up, but he was kind of like a father figure. I bonded with him in that way. He called me one of his top money girls, and I ended up meeting a girl in here who had a drug problem. Her name was Natasha, and Natasha was an old school hustler who had a cocaine habit, and she was shooting cocaine. And when I got mixed up with her, I started smoking it. She was smoking it, and then I ended up shooting it. And I think I got too big for my britches, and I started exploring the other clubs around the city, and we'll continue the journey with some of them. This used to be the Scuttlebutt Lounge. It was also ran by Sam, who owned the Greenery. There were some girls here that were further along in their journey than others. I still kind of felt like a newbie when I was here, and even though the owner treated me with respect, he still exploited other girls. I didn't feel like I was exploited, even though I was being exploited, because I felt like because he wasn't sleeping with me or making me sleep with him in his office, I felt like I wasn't being exploited, but I was. It's funny how we have degrees of hierarchy and judge according to different sins as well. I don't do that, so I'm not in that category, but we're all in the same category. I remember one night, Jeanette was found out here giving head to somebody in the parking lot. She lived under that bridge. Sam let her work here because I really believe with all my heart he was the one that gave her some drugs one night that made her go on a crazy trip, and she never came back from it. We always wondered why he kept her around. She would sit and talk to the plants in the corner. She knew what she was doing as far as like turning tricks. She was always being made to stop because she was always caught out in the parking lot. She was caught in the bushes. I remember one night I was in the bathroom with her in the dressing room, and she had a picture of her kids. She had 2 kids. She had a boy and she had a girl. The little girl looked like her, and she pulled them out of her wallet, and she was sitting on the sink and she was crying. And I was like, Jeanette, why are you crying? And she was saying, you want to see my kids? These are my kids. And I would look at the pictures and I would say, Jeanette, where are your kids? And then she would just shut down and cry all over again. And then Sam would usually have to come in the bathroom and make her get out of the bathroom, make her stop crying, take her in his office for a little while, and then she'd come back out and she'd work the rest of the night. But I really think he's the one that got her some bad drugs and made her go on a trip that she never came back from, because I think that's the only reason why he kept her here working. This is it used to be Fanny's. walked in, the stage was right here. It was like a strip, and the bar was towards the back. The girls here, when you work for Mac ran this. When you work for Mac, we were always told that Mac had ties to the mafia. And if you were a top money girl and you made a lot of money, then you got to go to Vegas with Mac and hang out with him. And but prostitution happened all the time in the basement. It was an ugly basement. It was like maybe 4 or 5 rooms. Very small rooms, only small enough to fit just a twin mattress on the floor. No bedding, no nothing, and you were made to go have sex in the basement. The guy would come in and put the money on the bar. He would pick the girl he wanted, and you would go in the basement and you would do what you did. And there were girls in here that were shooting drugs in the basement. There were girls that were being trafficked all through this place. I can remember a time I was working here and there was a girl who was shooting drugs that was my friend, and I didn't realize she was as bad as she was. And when I went in the basement with a customer one night, I went looking for her on purpose, and when I found her in the room shooting up with the customer. And I kept saying, hey, come on girl, come on out, let's go back upstairs, let's go back to work. But she didn't want to. She wanted to stay down there in the basement. And when she finally did come up, she was a little Asian girl from Illinois. When she did come up, I could tell she was too far gone and that there was nothing I could do for her. I didn't last long here when it was Fanny's, because I felt like when I was here, I was by myself. I didn't feel like I had protection. I didn't feel like I felt like anything could happen to me. I just didn't feel like I was protected here. I know that sounds crazy to think that you have more protection in some clubs than you do the others, but when you're being trafficked through the clubs, the club owners will make you feel like, I will protect you, I will watch over you, I will make sure that no one bothers you or hurts you, I'm here for you, just go make money. And but I didn't feel like I had that here, and I didn't feel like I had an alliance with any girls here well enough to be able to stay, so I didn't stick around. This place right here was the Little Red Mill. The Little Red Mill was a little place. I'm not even sure who owns it. I know that there were some girls that did things here that were close to the owners, and so they were favorites. They only had maybe a handful of favorites here. I wasn't one of their favorites. I was a stranger coming in. But here I met a girl that I ended up becoming friends with and taking back to occasions, the other place we left, who ended up turned out really bad in that place. I worked here for a little while. The only memory I really have here was meeting the girl that followed me out. I found out later that the girl that followed me out, I thought she was 21. I never had really thought to ask anything. She followed me to another club, became friends. But I found out that she was working here and she was only 16. I found out because I ran into the prosecutor who prosecuted her rape case the year before, and he was telling me different about her. But I felt a sisterhood with her, and I felt like I could protect her, and so we stuck together. once a long time ago, it was slip it in. It literally said slip it INN, slip it in. And when it was slip it in, this Serbian guy owned it, and his wife was running it, and he would walk in with an AK-47 on his shoulder like this, and it would startle the audience, the guys who was in here. But his wife was running it, and it was a couple of times she would get jealous, thinking that he was sleeping with some of the girls, which he probably was. One of them wasn't me. And so she got mad one night and decided to shoot up the place. And all of us ran into the dressing room, and the police were called, and she actually hit him in the shoulder, her husband. But because she didn't press charges, he didn't press charges against her, they kind of just let it go. Then another guy owned it, and when he owned it, he ended up running it really messed up, and a lot of the girls were on cocaine really bad. But what you would do is the police would come by every Friday, and they'd get an envelope full of money. They'd stand in the doorway, and you were made to do stuff in here whether you wanted to or not. I remember one night, one of the doormen, I used to think that I had some type of protection. I used to think that I could call my own shots, because I used to think that because I could pick and choose who I wanted to sleep with, that was only in the beginning. In the end, you slept with whoever paid your price. And one night, one of the doormen paid my price, and I didn't want to sleep with him because I didn't want to sleep with people I worked with. And he said he paid my price. He put his money on the bar. The bar owner had it. It was on the books. And he held a rifle to my head, and I was made to go downstairs with him and sleep with him whether I wanted to or not. I remember trying to pretend I had a boyfriend at the time. And I remember one night my boyfriend came to pick me up, and it was after 3, but I was still in here being made to make money. And that same bouncer held the rifle to the boyfriend's head and said she'll come out when she's finished. So even though I thought I had some type of freedom, I was still enslaved. They actually built this covering. This covering didn't used to be here, and they only built the covering because guys would come in at one door, pay the money, and they had to build a covering to stop people from the outside seeing how guys were getting upstairs. So they built this little walk-in so guys could go in this other door, pay their money, go out the door, go in this other door, and go upstairs. There was about 4 or 5 bedrooms upstairs, a shower, and a full bath. And there was a house mom, and she would go upstairs and knock on the door when your time was up. And then we would get the money, give it to the bar. The bar would write everything down. And then we went behind the bar, paid $1 for